much for joining us today. It's a pleasure to welcome you to this session where we will have the opportunity to learn more about Dress for Success and the meaningful impact it has made in the lives of so many women. Today we are honored to have Anne with us, who will share firsthand about the mission of the organization, its programs, and the difference it continues to make in the community. And thank you so much for being here with us. It's truly a privilege to have you, Ms. Anne. Um, to start, uh, could you tell us a little about yourself and what Dress for Success is and how this incredible initiative was born?
Surely. First, I want to say thank you for having me on. It's an honor to be speaking to your community and telling everyone about the great work that we do to support women. So, my name is Anne Klein, and I am the director of the Professional Women's Group here in Denver. And just a little bit about my background. I am a transplant from New York. It will come out now and again, I promise, with things that I say. Um, so I was in New York. I was a successful publisher. I was a backstage manager. I have a full marketing career background, and I come here to Denver, looking for new opportunities and found myself in the nonprofit arena. Um, and here I am now with Dress for Success, working with them as the director of the Professional Women's Group, where I actually get to work with the women who are working already, who have come through the program. And it's more like the retention center that we have. Um, so that's a little bit about me. That's a little bit about Dress for Success and my role there. I mean, basically, what Dress for Success is, we are an organization. We're an international organization. We have 130 affiliates in 15 countries around the world. So, we're not the only one. Our headquarters is in New York City, and we, are all individually owned per se. We have our own 503c and we run them the way we do. Here in Denver, we are 18 years old, and our executive director has been with us since almost day one in very different positions. She's kind of uh, weaned her way up to executive director, and she knows the entire industry and the entire market, and it's a pleasure to work with her and work under her leadership. We have there are four of us that run everything in the whole organization here in Denver. And so we're a small yet powerful, mighty team for Dress for Success.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. And talking about the mission of empowering women toward economic independence is very powerful. What does empowering women mean to you personally?
When you empower a woman, you give them independence, you listen to them, you hear them. And that's really what we're all about because, part of our mission is that we encourage belief and courage and inspiration and confidence in women. And if you put all of that together, that's empowerment right there. Because most women, struggle with confidence. They struggle with belief in themselves. And we, from the minute they walk into our office, we work on that.
Thank you. Um, Well, what type of women come to dress for success and what are their most common stories?
Oh my God, all kinds of women come to us. They come from every economic background. They come from every culture. They come from everywhere. It's not just women who are in lower economic arenas. I mean, we have women who, have just they've had they've raised four children and their last one just went out of just left the coop and they are going back into the workforce. And number one, their clothes don't fit. And number two, it's a different world now. They don't even know how to interview. They don't know what the protocols are because they are very different than they were 20 years ago or 25 or 30 years ago. We have women who are just going back into the workforce. We have women who are coming out of incarceration. We have women who are, have come out of domestic violence, and every cultural background. We have women who, have uh, very big backgrounds and high education that might come from other cultures and other countries and they're like, help, how do we get into the job market? And we help them with that too. So it's everything, everyone, everything.
That's very, very awesome. And what important is, um, I would like to ask you, what is the most transformative impact you have seen on a woman after going through the program?
That, where they've been able to rise in their work, they've gotten secure, they're making enough money to sustain themselves. They are making enough where they can actually build their credit so they can buy a car, so they can buy a house, so they can, things like that. And we see that all the time, all the time. Just recently, one of my gals, she said, when I came to you, I was making $4.10 an hour. And because of all the programs that you've given us and all the information and all the education, I now have my own house. I now am able to get a car. I'm able to get a loan, all those things. I'm like, oh my God, that's so great. Because it is, because a lot of times you don't know how you're going to make things happen. And it goes back to the confidence, the belief in yourself, the courage to keep going and to learn what you need to learn.
I love that. Um, what role does professional attire play in the process of empowerment and self-esteem for a woman?
Well, everything. Because I always say, when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you present good. Just period. You know, um, so it's the first step because, as women, we like to look good. We like to be put together. We want to feel good.
Yes. I think Miss Roya wants to say something.
Thank you, Stacy. I wanted to ask you, what is the process to join your organization for mentorship for the women? Is there a process? Do they have to fill up applications and then you provide mentorship for them to get from point A to B, or what is the process?
We don't have mentors per se. Um, what we have professional stylists that come in and we train them. We have professional career coaches who that's what they've done in their careers, in their lives, and most of them are all retired now, and they work with us. Some mentorships, like there's some other programs that we could use mentors in for different items. Like I personally have a entrepreneurial success program that is starting in September. And so I match each one of my students with a mentor, career coach to help them go through the process. So those are ways, just reach out to us, and let us know what you're interested in. One of the things you could do, a lot of times when people aren't too sure as to, how they want to get involved with us, because we do have a lot under our umbrella. It's not just the clothing. We call it a Dress for Success 101, and it's the first Thursday of every month. And so one of us will host it. It's from 6 to 7 in the evening. And you come, we'll give you a tour of the boutique, and we'll go into much more depth as to the different programs and how to get involved.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question.
Do you work with the refugees, families, or women? Or
We can, absolutely. The criteria to come in to get suited is that you have to be going for a job, looking for a job. We don't ask you, for proof of that. We kind of take that as they say, and we'll make an appointment with them. We work with, oh my God, over 200 agencies here in Denver, always looking for new ones to work with. Um, or if somebody hears about us, they can just call us up and say, I'm looking for a job. I heard about you. Can I make an appointment? And then when they come in, we suit them for that interview. We give them a little career counseling at that time too, for that hour, because they're all hour appointments and it has to be by appointment. It's not a drop in, it's not a walk in. They're all by appointments because we have to get our career counselor and our suitors, our dressers there for them.
Okay, thank you. And how does the support network you offer help strengthen confidence in a sense of community among women?
Can you say that one more time?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. How does the support network you offer help strengthen confidence and a sense of community among women?
It gives a place of belonging. Our support network, the women who come through us, they keep coming back. They come through the program, and, it's non-judgmental. You walk in, the minute they walk in, we are serving them. We ask them how they're doing. We offer them a glass of water if they want it. We ask them if they have to go to, use the restroom before they get started. It may sound like, silly, but it's not, because many of them take the bus to get to us, and it's a basic function, it's like you're thirsty, you gotta go. Um, and it lowers the resistance, because many of them, have either been told to come here or somebody told them about us. They have no idea what they're walking into. And many of them too have never been in a place like we have, because it's like a high-end boutique in there. It's very different than many other places, so I'm told. But it's nice. So we definitely offer them that support and safety, uh, and a place for them to come. That they can feel good about, and they can tell their friends where they went to get help and feel good about it.
Yes. And sometimes it's difficult, and when you are trying to when you're a woman and trying to incorporate and to take many challenges, for example, being independent, and how important is emotional and psychological support on the journey toward economic independence?
You know, um, it's really important. Yeah, you just, that's a hard one. That's a hard one. That's a hard one. Just emotional and I mean, if your emotions are intact, usually your psychology is intact too. Because a lot of times your emotions put you over the edge. Um, so we work on that a little bit, because we let them know that they're being seen, like when we're dressing them, when we're suiting them. I mean, we put them into an outfit, like number one, they might have never even put on a suit. I mean, many women we hear are like, I've never done that. I don't know what to wear about that. So we do that. And that it balances it somehow or another. It's pretty cool when you see that.
Yes. And it is important, yes, to have this kind of support, because it's not easy. And also, when you said something about domestic violence and some of those kind of things, and also about the self-esteem, and to have um, the initiative, and to take different options for your life. And I would like to know, what main obstacles do women face when they want to re-enter the workforce?
The main obstacles that women face when they want to re-enter the workforce, a lot of times it's proper attire, it's relevancy in today's market, how to answer questions, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. Those are the biggies right there. Like they have no idea even what employers are going to ask, or maybe they've been on 20 interviews and they ask, how do I answer that? And that's something that we help with as well.
Um, how do you identify potential in women who at times have completely lost faith in themselves?
We talk to them. We let them be seen. A lot of times we let them be heard because sometimes all you need is just an ear and you don't even have to say anything. We do that a lot. Um, and we promote ways to just give them encouragement, to give them confidence, whether, it's like, well, you're wearing this and this looks great. I mean, these are the best colors. This is a great fit on you. You have education, you have knowledge about what you're doing, or ask them, what do you know about, to help draw that out of them, what they are knowledgeable about. Because sometimes you forget about it. And when you know more about what people know, you can bring it back to them and you can, remind them like, oh, Oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I am good at that. And sometimes, that's what just needs to be said or needs to be heard from somebody who they trust. It can't just be anybody. It has to be someone that they trust, they admire, they respect. That's what we try to do.
Mm, yeah, thank you. Um, I don't know how am I going to say that this because this interview, um, it's a kind of personal for me because well, I'm a woman and I'm trying to grow personal and professional, and in my family, my mom, I think she's a very very strong woman because she's like the women you have received, you know. She suffered and we suffered domestic violence many years ago, and she studied, but she is a little or a lot insecure, and I understand this. This is very emotional for me, and without crying, I would like to um, ask you for a story that has emotionally touched you since you have been with Dress for Success.
Thank you for sharing. That's all part of it right there. One of the things that I learned when I came to dress, because we all have our stories. We all have our secrets. We all have, our traumas. We all do, and we speak freely at dress about them. And that is so healing when you can actually speak about it and, and never to take away because what's happened has happened, but to know, this is my story and this is how I am now. And, you just kind of move forward and you're in a place of security. You're a place, I go back to the word non-judgment. So there's a woman. So thank you for sharing that. I know that was hard. I know that was hard. So was it last, I don't know, it was last year, or the year, but I think it was this past winter. So we had a woman who came in and she was living in one of those uh, apartment buildings, but she came in off the street and she was on the street. And then she told us her story, how she actually walked. This like blows my mind. She walked with her dog from Texas to Colorado for her reasons. And she was rough. She really was rough looking. I mean, her hands were very rough. I mean, she had this long hair. She had this big old, ugly, big coat on. And, I mean, just all she had on was like a dirty gray sweatsuit on. And we took the coat, we put it over there. We took her to the back, excuse me, and we took the clothes off of her and we put clothes on her that fit. And we started talking to her. I mean, if you looked at her when she walked in, she was kind of scary looking because she was rough and, she was dirty and all of that. That's not unusual. But you couldn't tell what she looked like underneath it. Oh my God, she was like a size 8 underneath that. And we put on pants that fit her perfectly, a really nice top. And she started opening up and telling us that she was educated. Things happen, I mean, you fall on hard times. And, we gave her clothes and she walked out of there. Her back was so straight. She had a smile on her face from New York to California. And, we wished her well. I'll never forget that. I've never forgotten it. I'll never forget it because it was just, I mean, just the thought of walking for that long and then coming here and still living on the street and then finally figuring out a way to get into shelter. And then those in shelter told her to come to us and we were there to help her. I don't know what happened to her. She never came back, but I'm gonna say I will think that she made it. And those are the things, that really touched me because I personally don't work in the boutique too much. I'm with the professional women's group. That's where women come once they uh, get into their jobs. And that's the retention center. And that's where we bring in all different topics every single month. And they come back month after month after month, year after year after year. So, but whenever they need me back there, I go back, and that one was really impactful for me.
Thank you. It touched my heart. Um, what do you think is the connection between economic empowerment and the woman's personal freedom?
Everything, just everything. When you're down and out, you can't do, if you don't have any money, you can't do anything. I mean, that's just the money makes the world go round. And you don't need to have a lot, but if you are able to go into that workforce and find an honest job, that's something that works for you and works around your family and for your family, it all goes together. And you see that. It doesn't mean that you'll stay there in that one because it could be just a stepping stone. And we tell women that too. Start making some money. Just get out there. Start working. Start feeling better, being able to take care of yourself.
Yes. And your experience, what does success mean for the women who come to you?
For the women who come to me, success means that I give them a place that they want to come back to month after month, year after year. I bring in topics that are lifestyle topics. I bring in that help with financial education. I create workshops on entrepreneurial programs. So it's the whole gamut, and it just allows the women to have options. We give them options to look at and look into. And, the more options you have, the more freedom you have. And then that goes back to having a little money because, you have to have some money in order to do certain things. But, even if they don't have the money for different types of insurance or how to, get your car fixed and things like that, at least you've gotten some good information as to where to go or some new people, trusted people that we've brought into them that they can reach out to in the future when and if they're ready. And I've seen that a lot of times.
Thank you. Mr. Javier, can you tell?
So I love everything that you guys are sharing. I think this is amazing. Just the fact of, seeing you being vulnerable in here, Miss Stacy, is great because it really tells the impact of, what encouraging women has in so many layers, right? And as you guys were talking, like I'm thinking a lot on like how the challenges that these women who are like who come from a very vulnerable background is not only the reality for them, but for women who actually have been into college, into a professional life and everything. I guarantee that every single one of you here have experienced something awful just for being a woman in a workplace, in the society, in the streets, whatever, like there's like so much that sometimes like happens. I heard stories from Miss Stacy and from Miss Roya, and it's just like it's baffling to me to see how like the society is still so difficult for women in this world. And I wanted to know more about how that expansion into other countries that you mentioned before has been for you as an organization. Has it been tricky? Some cultures might be different. Some cultures might be more will have a different nature when it comes to their challenges. So, are you guys in Costa Rica? Can we connect you guys with people in Costa Rica that might help you? Um, and the last question I had is like how do you came to all of this? Because I imagine like even like for you, you found a job in Dress for Success, so this actually has like a huge impact in what you do, and I can see in your eyes that you love your job, and how much you love when you see somebody's life being transformed positively. So I think that's something I admire, and I just wanted to share that few questions and say thank you everyone for being in this conversation today. I love all the hard work you guys do, and like I know how hard it can be for women in this world sometimes.
Thank you. Would you like me to answer those questions?
Yeah, you can either answer.
Okay. I wasn't sure. Okay. So as the first question about the different countries and stuff, I do not believe we are in Costa Rica yet. So like I had said, we are all independently owned and operated. In each affiliate, we have our own boards, we have our own 5013C, we have our own everything. But we do have the umbrella of Dress for Success worldwide. I'm actually going to the worldwide conference in October. So I'll be able to answer that better after I come back from that. I'm really excited about that because I'll get to meet all the other key players all around the world. And I'm really looking forward to that. As far as, yes, I love my job, and most people don't realize that there's so many other people in society who need help, other women who need help. So I'll be a little vulnerable. I'll share something with you. So about 11 years ago, I I lost everything when I was in New York. I lost everything. Successful publisher, like I said. I mean, I always say when print was king, I was queen and life was great. And then things changed. And then I kept, I closed my business. I went back into the market, all the confidence in the world because I was a successful publisher. I knew how to do that. I was marketing, advertising. I got it, everything. And, I kept going back into the marketplace and it just wasn't working. And at that time, that's when everything started going like this in the world. Fast forward, I lost everything and I moved out to Colorado with just what was in my car because I have a friend who lives here and she knew my story and she said, all right, come on out. You can stay with me for a while. I was like, what's in Colorado? I'm from New York, there's New York, Miami, Chicago, and LA. That's it. So I drove out here and, I stayed with her when I first got here. And I did a lot of things in between then and Dress for Success. because this is what I learned by coming to Dress for Success. Because they, number one, they saw something in me. I didn't find them, they found me. That's a crazy story. But what I learned, because when you come from, let's say, a middle or a higher economic status, your friends do not know where to send you for help. But when you come from a lower economic status, everybody knows where the help is. It's just a cultural thing. And my friends did not know where to send me. They said, okay, you need a job, go get a job. So I went and got a job. I went to King Soopers. I pushed a car. I went to drive a limousine. I worked in the middle of the mall. I worked for Home Advisor. That was like the worst job ever. But you do what you have to do because that's what you're supposed to do. And nobody knew where to send me for resources like Just for Success. And once I got in there and I really saw what we do for women, all women, I was like, well, that would have changed a whole lot of years and a whole lot of struggle. And that's one of my missions is because women like me who come from means, and there's a lot of us out here who have fallen from grace for one reason or another, and not all by their own, just things happen. Um, you know, we're silent. We don't talk about it. We really don't talk about it because our friends do not want to hear it, and so we just don't talk about it. And but we're out there. So I love when I can help women like me come in and give them that leg, that step. It's just a little, all you need is a little step. But what I found too with this is that those women really come give back because they are so grateful for the help that we have given them. And they know how to give back. It's an interesting phenomena that we see. So that's me telling you my story.
Miss Maria?
Thank you so much for sharing. I have a kind of question that I'm dying to ask you. I believe in self-confidence comes from self, but working with marginalized community, I found out this self-confidence is not there. So I know that you help them to dress them up to go for the interview and stuff. How do you help them to bring about this self-confidence so they can move forward with that? Because I feel like, I'm a math teacher, and I right now I'm teaching early childhood. The first thing I do with my kids is this. I love math. I love math, so I start with this to build their confidence. I just want to know how you built confidence within these women.
Yeah, it takes time. It definitely doesn't happen overnight and quickly at all. It's just through different programs coming through us. Those of us that are on staff, we're pretty stable here. And so they know us and they trust us. And yeah, I think trust has a lot to do with that. I really do. Because they know if I say something, it's going to happen. Same thing with Jennifer, same thing with all of us. But they have to see self where their lack of confidence is, and then maybe reach reach into the programs that we can offer them and then maybe just sit down and like think about it or meditate about it or something like that. I have a very good friend who I brought in to Dress for Success, and she helps me a ton with the running of the PWG. And before she came in, she had a lot of self-confidence issues where she for the most part would let people run all over her, and she doesn't do that anymore. She really doesn't. We just had a conversation about that. And that's been like 2.5 years. And it's taken her. One of the things, but I will tell you, one of the things that gives women self-confidence. So we have every year we have a gala, and we actually have a fashion show at the gala every single year. And the women that are in the professional women's group, we ask them first who wants to be a model. And that has changed so many women because, that's like a dream come true. I mean, if you're like 230 pounds and you're going to be a model, like, oh my God, oh, we suited her. She looked so beautiful. She came back again this year and she's going to be a model. And it's just, those are big things. I'm not going to say they're little. Those are really big things because it's something that you'd never think you would do. I'm not going to model in front of 300 people, let you put clothes on me and makeup and all that stuff. But we do, and they do, and it's a lot of fun. And that absolutely changes. We've seen that change them because you stand taller, and it's something cool. Very, very cool to do.
Thank you, Mr. Javier.
I definitely believe that the sense of belonging to a community that, makes you feel nurtured and valued helps a lot, and bringing opportunities helps a lot with self-esteem. My question is like, if there is someone who maybe has a company or an organization watching this podcast either today or another day when we release the video, or if you in the future wants to hire somebody, can organizations come to you and ask, we are looking for people who can do this type of jobs, and we want to come first to you because we know the service you guys do. So if you have anybody who can send us their CV, or why not, we can have the job interviews.
Yeah, we don't do job placements. But what you can do is you can let us know who and what you're looking for. And one of the things that I do every month is I send out a newsletter to my group of the professional women's group, and I give them new job opportunities and just community events to take a look at. I mean, I don't know who's job hunting, but I put them in there. So yeah, we don't send them to anyone per se.
Okay.
Yeah, we stay in our lane. Stay in our lane.
Uh, I have one question. If I want to donate some suit, how do I do that? Because I was wondering, what am I going to do with all these suits I have?
Great question. So we have a donation day every single month, the second Saturday of the month from 10 to 2. You just drive up and we have volunteers outside to help you get out of the car, and we will bring them in. Once a month we do that. That's where we get all of our clothing. Everything in dress is 100% donated. And that just leads me into, so we have this donation day every single Saturday, every single Saturday. So we take the professional attire and we put it into the boutique for suiting, professional suiting, stuff that's, just not for us. We pass forward to other organizations that, can use it, and, they make money for whatever their charity of choice is. And then what we also we hold on to the really nice things that isn't professional attire, and we put it in the back. And twice a year we have a pop-up sale, and that's open to the public, and that's one of our biggest fundraisers, a big fundraiser, not our biggest, but a big fundraiser for us. We get, 300 people who come through there every single time. I mean, it's just crazy, and it's one day. So it's we have a lot of fun with the clothes.
Thank you. It's important to know that. And I think someone put it on the chat. I would like to know about the sisterhood. It is important, and what role does sisterhood and support among women play in your work model?
It's organic. It really has become organic because not on the front end, but on the back end. Because on the front end, many of them could just be transient women who are just passing through and need clothing to get a job. But then we always invite them afterwards to come to the professional women's group when they're able to. And then once they come there and they see what it is, 8 times out of 10, I'm not gonna say 9 out of 10, but 8 times out of 10, they keep coming back. And then they'll bring another friend sometimes. So, and that's where the sisterhood is. One of my goals when I came in was to create this, and because I didn't see that there was a lot of communication amongst the women. They just came, they sat, but now they come, they chat, they talk. I'm like, hello, we're ready to start. Hello. Because we get, 80 to 100 women every month. So it's a big event. And they chat away.
Yes. How companies and society actively support real, not symbolic female empowerment?
Find out who they are. Talk to them. Don't treat them, just treat them as individuals. That's the big thing. A lot of women say, oh, I just come in, I do my job, and I gotta go. Nobody talks to me. Nobody finds out what my background is. Nobody wants to know where I came from, what I, can contribute. You know, um, ask them questions. They might be somebody who's highly qualified for another great position in the organization, but they don't necessarily need that big bump in salary for a lot of reasons. I came across that a lot when I was interviewing before Dress. I was lucky enough to be in a situation where, my rent was little, I didn't own anything anymore. I didn't need a lot of money, for my position, but I wanted those positions. I could do those jobs, but they didn't even talk to me about, and it's funny, people don't talk to you about money. They just assume, and you can't talk to them because they don't ever get back to you. So, but that's a big one, just find out what their education is. Have conversations with, that's how I learn everything. That's how I get my speakers. I have conversations with people. I'll say, oh, that's a good idea. We've never had anything like that. And I bring it in and it's a hit, you know?
Thank you. That's awesome. And yeah, that's true. And talking about cultural or different types of societies, how do cultural or social barriers affect women's professional growth, and how does Dress for Success help overcome them?
Uh, just talk, be yourself, keep going forward, just keep going forward. Cultural barriers. I mean, I've lived in other countries, so I personally do understand cultural barriers, but, find people who can help you, who speak your language, who can help you understand maybe the slang. A lot of times that's really hard. Um, and just be yourself. Just be yourself, because the right people will be attracted to you always if you're yourself.
Yes, Javier?
Um, we deal with moms, for our early childhood programs that are interested to learn English and also get a job, and um, so I guess those are and the first and second component of getting a job, but the third component, I guess, get involved with your organization to see how to dress for success. Can you put in a chat how they can reach out to you and stuff so we can send them your way,
Sure, absolutely. Um, yes. Here it is. Yeah. Oh, sometimes we have women who, especially because there's a lot of Spanish dialects here in Denver. And if they have somebody who, speaks Spanish and can help translate, we encourage them to bring them with them
Mhm.
so that that will work.
Mhm.
I'm working with someone right now who is Ukrainian. She wants to be in my entrepreneurial program, and her English really isn't that good. So I found another gal within my program, to see if she could help with that. So we're in talks, everything to help, to make it work. We like to make it work.
Brenda?
Yeah, I would like to have I have a little question, and thank you for your vulnerability and for all that sharing, because this is such a impacting conversation. Self-esteem so many times through life and for circumstances, it gets sometimes damaged, and it takes a lot of work to rebuild it and trusting yourself again and be out there. So that was my question, like, um, oh, sorry, it was asking me to change my language. But so my question is, like, for example, I am an FFN, so I am a care provider. But it's true, I feel like when I dress up a little bit more than the usual, sweatpants, I feel better. So is there a space for us there? Because you know what, like, I don't, I'm not out there anymore working in the workforce per se or in an office. But I still feel like, even with the kids, if I step up a little bit, if I do my hair, if I prepare myself to receive them and think of myself more like as a teacher, like being a person that is presentable, not only for them, but for me and for the parents when they come and drop them off. Is there a space for us there or not?
I would invite you to come to our professional women's group because you are working. That's the criteria for that. It's the last Tuesday of every month from 6:30 to 8. And, that is where you will meet the other women. And
Quick question. Do you do
Mhm.
it in Zoom or it has to be in person?
It's in person.
It's in person. Okay.
It is in person. Yes, so we do that. I mean, that's where those that haven't come through the boutique, let's say, and that's where we invite you. But once you come there, it's like osmosis. You feel it because you see, not everybody dresses to the nines by any means, but I always say business casual, but come how you're comfortable. Don't come in a pair of jeans, just look nice, because it's once a month that you can really do something for yourself.
Yeah.
And, it's all about you.
Thank
You
you for the
know?
invitation. I will try to
Yes,
go. Thank you so much.
absolutely. Come anytime. Let me know.
Thank you.
I think
Kristen?
Hi. I couldn't find the raise hand button, so sometimes I'm technologically challenged. But I want to say thank you so much, Stacy, for inviting me. And I'd like to thank the Dress for Success just organization for doing all the work that it does. I'm in New York right now, so it's and just being a woman, I've worked in a lot of different workplaces. And a lot of times I didn't really, I had to wear a lab coat or I had like certain things that I've had to wear, like uniforms. So I feel like it brings a lot of creativity, when you're able to have a job and, go somewhere that's going to help you kind of harness that, give
Mhm.
you the tools for that, the education for that, because it does make a world of difference. And as confident as we can say we are, yeah, it's nice to look nice. You kind of you feel that, and looking nice looks different, I feel like, to everyone. And it's really just about how you feel. And empowering women is just so, so important now more, than ever, especially here in the United States. I feel like there's a lot of things that have gone backwards when it comes to women and the rights that we have concerning our own bodies. Um, and so being independent and making our own decisions is becoming more and more important. It's always been important, but I feel now there's such pushback from everybody else, in a male dominated world. It's very hard. It is really hard. And I live here by myself. Um, I do have a fiance in Costa Rica, but I am financially independent here. And it's it's hard, and going into interviews and things like that, when you feel confident, it's just, yeah, it's really great to hear about all this. And it really warms my heart, that this message reaches so many women, across the states, across everywhere. And I just want to thank you for what you do, everyone that's involved and, being invited to this and, being able to listen and take things away from myself too. So, um, yeah, I do have to leave, unfortunately. But I've got all the info in the chat, so I really appreciate everything, everybody.
Thank you. I would suggest too, since you're in New York, we have a New York chapter. Reach out to them.
Ooh,
See, if maybe you might want to get involved with
yeah,
them somehow or another.
that's a really great idea.
Yeah, yep, definitely do that. Tell them Ann from Denver sent you.
And from Denver. All right, I'll make a note of that right now. And from Denver. All right, thank you so much, Anne. Thanks,
You're
Stacey.
welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I just have one more question, and the last one. Well, to close, what message do you give to a woman who today feels that she has no way out or opportunities?
My message to that would be there's always hope. There's always somewhere and someone that can help you. Keep looking. Keep looking. Don't despair.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This was so enjoyable. I really enjoyed it.
I don't know if someone wants to ask something or to say something.
Yes, if someone has any questions or comments, anything you guys want to share, this is the perfect moment for it, since we're just reaching the closing of the amazing interview that we had today. I'm very happy with everything and just have a lot of admiration for you all.
And can you put the information on the Tuesday professional night in the chat so we can
Sure.
pass it along for people to attend? Thank you.
So I just wanted
And
to
I'll
say,
take care of that for you so you
Okay.
can answer
Okay.
questions.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you, Anne, for sharing your time, your experience, and your insight with us today. It has been truly inspiring to learn more about Dress for Success and the positive impact it creates in the lives of so many women. And to everyone who joined us, thank you for being part of this conversation. We hope this session has given you a deeper understanding of the mission and the heart behind this important work.
All right. Great.